sorry about that. Try that, sorry about that. I like clicked it, I apologize.
Sorry.
Was it possible to get it, or is range what the base cost is, just to get light up there, and then what?
So we have a local person that lives in our town that works on this stuff that I speak to help answer those questions. So what I can do is, if we here today can agree on what we're looking for, I can say, can you give me an idea of the cost of this, of a pole like this?
So they don't
Okay.
break it out.
Well, what I would like to do in return is like, I would like us to be able to say, we want a light pole that does this. So we can then put it out there, and we also wanna not be so or equal, cause I gotta tell you, there's a ton of these things out there. You start looking at light poles for communities, there's all kinds out there. So we need to
Well, you might,
try them.
so to do that, generally speaking, a lot of people, I mean, what I would always recommend is you wanna standardize on something, as long as the town has some sort of standardization. Then you definitively don't necessarily need to open it up to other competitors at that point in time, but you'd have to standardize on something.
Yeah, something that we
But-
can,
It makes sense though, if you're gonna have a standardized fixture, because it's one manufacturer, you know, one set of parts and pieces, you know, so.
Is there any advantage to going with whoever the city used to put the lights on Lakeshore Drive? I mean, they're nice looking, I mean, they're similar to,
yeah, that was
Something
Centrix, I believe it was called, Centrix, that's Mr. Robbins. There is, but again, the city put out a proposal
Yeah.
for lights to, for that area, that's the style they chose.
Yeah.
Where we put out a general, here's what we're looking for, and we got 2 quotes, 2 were completely different. And the other 3 quotes had nothing of what fixture or anything, cause again, they didn't know
What to work with.
what we're working with here.
any advantage to talking to the city? I mean, they did that installation, you know, have some consistency there from, you know, the uptown area to the lakeshore.
Yeah, we talked with John Goodwin about that. One thing I also wanted to bring up is I am looking to see what it costs to just replace the head and repaint the poles. I mean, that is also an option if we want to do something like that. I don't know the cost, but you know, if we're looking at 8,000 pole with at 80 or 82 poles, it's, you know, $650,000.
What
Just,
do we have in the, it's the bid paying for this,
it's
right?
the bid, so you're,
So what do we have, like around 200?
yeah, you're gonna buy this
We're gonna
project.
bond it,
I believe is what was discussed at one time.
okay.
Is our intent to just take down the old poles and replace them with new poles on the same basis?
Yes,
Or are we, okay,
correct.
so we're not looking to increase the lighting or have the lighting meet any standards as far as highway lighting?
We were not looking to per se illuminate like a freeway,
No,
but what we're looking for is to have the light shed downward so it flooded the sidewalk and the median and provide some lighting along the front of the businesses.
because the current base spacing might be too far apart.
Correct.
So then we're into other bases, or we just, like you said, just, the good news was the bases seemed good.
Yes,
I understand from reading it. So at least we have, what's there already is something we can work with. So then it's just a matter of finding a structural limiter to work.
to work.
Form-based code, I think it has a whole section on lighting,
It does.
and I'm not sure if it applies to streets.
Not-
Also, I'll
I
have
don't
to go
think it
back and look at
applies-
it, I just
applies
thought
to
of
the
that,
businesses, but,
because that might have cut sheets for,
yeah.
or at least standards as far as.
Well, and that
what the
whole
poles
area
might be.
also is asking for more road cuts, so I don't, we might wanna think in the future where they might end up being
Mhm.
potentially.
You talking like curb cuts?
Yeah, more roads in that area, cause I was talking about needing a shorter block, you know, so I'm just saying if you're adding light poles, maybe think about where those might be and don't put it in the middle of where we might
Well, isn't
potentially.
Common Road the only one that's talking about bringing out to?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
one, but
Maybe
That's
I don't foresee any curb cuts on, unless it's a driveway to a business
okay,
for 332 being put in.
Yeah.
That would be
because everything's pretty much bought up through there for any
Yeah, yeah.
future road cuts. The only one that we've always talked about, we digress, but it's the one
Randy Road.
from Cowan Road
going
back over.
out.
But-
Randy,
The last time we talked about that, the DOT wanted to be a right-hand turn only.
Yeah.
They did not want people crossing 332 to the left.
Right,
but that's really
They
the
all do
only
that, right?
yeah,
possible.
You check and I'll check the
Yeah.
FBC.
So for today though, do we really need wireless light control dimming on 332?
I don't
I
care
don't
about that.
No.
I'd keep it
I
simple.
think you just need light.
I don't care about
it's
dimming.
probably a
Anything
good
would be
idea,
better
John,
what's there.
I
stick
think,
with a kiss.
I think if we can have the potential to have a few banners in there and or the potential to add them, I think that's important. Do we need
Well,
it every
yeah.
pole? No, not
I
necessarily.
wouldn't think that would add that much cost. I mean,
No, I don't
put
think.
clamps on.
No,
it.
that's not a huge cost,
Just-
but
Yeah.
I'd like a couple, you know, on either side, I mean, we could have 4, as low as 4, you know, 2 on 2, you know. But I think but I do think, particularly in the area where Tops is, I would love to have that secondary sidewalk light. Because that area will be heavily trafficked.
we can talk about that. How about public Wi-Fi? Is that really something we should be worried about, or is that something we team up with, say, Verizon, AT&T, where we get a revenue at least off the poles we own?
So what, in the smart poles, what's the add-on, the Wi-Fi, what else?
That's about it,
Okay.
you know, to be able to, basically,
Is there a
public Wi-Fi
Wi-Fi
is what it
issue
comes
over
down to.
there?
Does that have,
oh, I have no idea, I don't.
Have anybody encountered any issue over
does it
there?
have to be every single pole or can it be?
My guess would be there would be a device with a repeater that would
Right.
pick up, down,
And
so that's
some
what,
number of.
yeah, so like the 7 pins, now you're pulling new cable to that pole, so it connects that repeater to bring it back to the cellular device to send out.
I mean, I like the idea, but I feel like, you know, every time a municipality does something like this, it's quickly out of date. You know, I think like the ring we did around the county that nobody ever had access to. It's like by the time we get that done or built, it's gonna be, and try to maintain and stay on top of technology. I don't think that's the best place for us to be putting our
I
money.
think you asked what the cost is, but I don't know that it's.
I doubt that's gonna be something we can keep up.
Is
Uh,
the check,
really want
any
lights.
conflict with those power lines that are on 332? Because now you're talking a higher pole.
I don't know the answer, Chuck, but I know what you're asking.
I'm trying to remember, are the power pole, are the utility poles behind the?
Some, yeah, they're behind the
Okay.
sidewalk, yes, they're behind the sidewalk.
Because I don't think it'd be as high as the electric, but it's certainly the cable runs mid-pole on these utility poles, and that could be.
Oh, okay, the height of this one in the back, you're saying maybe.
Well, I'm thinking what we have out front on 332.
Yep.
Where we've got that spaghetti of power poles.
I don't see a need for any GFI receptacles. I just don't see us.
Just gonna
Well,
light
I
the
mean,
poles.
unless you want,
Christmas.
random people,
I
well,
know.
yeah,
They get
exactly, I think
smashed,
that's
they
the
get-
purpose, is the people like to plug
That's
in
what they're
with the lighted wreaths and stuff like that.
Yeah, power for that. I mean, I don't know. That I can see as being more useful than Wi-Fi.
Um,
So you're talking Wi-Fi, are you talking like 5G,
Yeah, but my thought there would
what
be,
Verizon's looking at?
yes, like, I don't know if you notice around the city on certain buildings, there's, I don't know, they're 4 foot tall.
Yeah,
They're using, basically leasing space from those buildings to put that 5G on
Some
technology.
revenue from the
Right, so
outside cost, but
I don't know
Is
if
that-
this is really gonna have that need, because
I don't see us keeping up with that.
I don't know if we,
I don't
think
see
the town needs to.
It's not like it's a super dense
Right,
urban area
it's not,
through there,
yeah.
right? Like, we're talking about
If
like more the commercial area down there,
Commercial.
right? So.
What
let
what
them
about
do it.
security cameras though?
Well, that's on here, cameras, that's something we can we'll
I
look
can see
into.
more of a need for that than, you know, I mean, for.
Why don't we let Jim go through his
prevention.
list first? And we'll
And then,
add
um,
other items that we have to add.
There's that digital signage, instead of banner, it's actual LED, I mean, it sounds like, okay.
Sounds expensive.
Emergency call station. I mean, I don't really see,
No,
You got a fire station right there.
right, Okay, so basically,
It's probably more for urban
a
settings.
camera and banners, okay.
Yeah.
Alright,
Why do we want cameras?
there's just one of the things that was brought up, is if we could put a camera on it. I
A
don't see.
camera on every pole?
No, God, no,
Here and there for security
Maybe
purposes.
but perhaps, you know, somebody wants for security.
So you got Big Brother watching it? That's the whole idea.
Well, it could help if
Are
somebody,
there any,
there might be a benefit for maybe over at the park, cause we wanna put some lights over there. What's it there,
or, but,
by Blue Heron?
yeah, well, we have cameras in, Pierce Park, don't we have a camera there?
We have a park camera at Pierce Park, and we have a camera down at Outhouse Park.
Yeah.
That's
That would
just to
be
see
the
if
only,
we-
is there any cameras at the intersection? You know, the city, town boundary there by that?
No.
Cops don't have anything there,
Not that I'm aware of,
This is
maybe they just don't want to, you know.
the
Oh, yeah, okay.
section,
alright,
talking
I
about what
don't-
they're
yeah,
looking for lighting.
okay,
The basic thing is getting light restored up there, that's the.
okay,
The banner thing can't add that much.
no, that's just
You know, and
clamps
that's
and
an
poles,
option,
I
mean,
just,
that's a-
the question was, is how many do you want? Well, every other poles, we'll do half.
Yeah, well, this is like buying a car, oh, we have these options.
Oh, yeah,
They want to upsell you.
there's a lot of options that can be done, so,
So what's next then, Jim, you go back to,
well, I will go back to the gentleman I'm speaking to, say, look, we want this wattage. We want the spacing is this, and we're looking at this type of pole, if we can agree that we're thinking a light for the road and a light for the sidewalk.
Let's see, fiberglass.
Yeah, there'll be a composite. Not a, it's like we cast aluminum, and it won't be aluminum, so,
Okay.
a composite structure to go
As
on
long
there.
as it's maintenance free.
Yes, that's what we're looking for.
Yeah, it's more typical now, the fiberglass ones.
You know, we are gonna have to, in the handholds where the fuse kits are, we're going to replace some, probably all of them, they're just old, okay, and let's have this water seeping in, the shorts out, that's why, and the lights go on. I mean, that's not a huge expense.
My
but
guess is you'll have to go and take it from the wire. Let's see, I wanna say it. Take it from the wire connection at the base
Mhm.
and install new from there.
The wire itself was in good shape.
Right, that's what I'm saying. So
Yeah.
the wire coming out of the base, from there up through the light pole is gonna have to be new, including the
Those
handhelds.
handhelds,
Yeah,
correct, yes, okay,
There's a full 2 pages in the form-based code area talking about.
okay,
yeah, I wouldn't think you're gonna save the kit or anything. I mean, that's gonna be, the kit's gonna come with a particular pole anyways, right? Each
there's
pole's
that,
gonna use a different
and there's
kit.
also, Archie has handholds every so often, in case.
You need
some-
to get in there.
Need to get in there.
Yeah.
So those are the other handholds that are more in the ground than the pole.
Yeah.
That we have to have, so. Alright, I've got directions, so that helps.
Yeah, it looks like there's Wi-Fi.
So
They're tackling, I think it'll be added later, sometime.
did,
Once the new page.
you went out and you got a proposal without MRB's participation, right?
Well,
I remember correct.
we got some help with picture his face,
That guy.
that guy, I'm sorry, John, I
That's
can't,
okay. No, you didn't
we
even
did
worry
have
about it,
help.
but
we had help put together the proposal with
Yeah.
a company that Doug knew.
So I guess my question is then, once we decide all this and after you've done your research and you talk to some of these suppliers, what's the next step?
I would come back to all of you, we'll discuss, this is the light fixture that we
Mhm.
could
Can
have.
we decide on
And
it?
we decide, and then from there, we can put out a request for quotes
Okay,
to have them removed and installed.
yes. Okay, so it is gonna be a competitive process.
Yes, yeah,
And we're just doing our due diligence now to ensure the type of fixture, poles and et cetera that we want
that we
now.
want,
Okay, good.
okay,
I think that's great.
We should probably do that in the bid meeting, which, I mean, he's got a bunch listed now, cause it's the bid paying for it, so.
okay,
So if we did it in that, then I think the bid be the one that would be issuing, any action on it.
oh, I can, I just assume we will replace these lights and that was.
Yeah, no, we are, but I think we have, some of the town board meetings have the actual bid meetings as
Oh.
part of them.
I'm sorry,
So I'm saying, as when we're officially being the bid,
okay,
that's probably the bid is who has to probably make,
Not the
They,
bid on the president.
No, no,
no, no, I know what you're saying,
Yeah,
I was,
Uptown bid.
yeah,
When it's time to award,
yeah,
but I think they're the
I
decision
think
maker about it.
we could do our due diligence
Of
now,
course,
Yeah.
yeah.
but when it's time to award, the bid has to kind of make
Yeah.
a recommendation to the board, right?
yeah,
Yes.
we want them to be involved, so
Yeah.
they know what
That's
they're
what you're saying, I think,
It's
right?
this, at this point, it's the same people, it's just,
Yeah, okay.
there's,
Well,
and the
that's-
other thing is the CAP, which is the new name for the CIC group. One of their, one of the things we just sort of assigned for them to be doing is looking into the street lighting in the uptown area, so maybe reach out to that not fully existent group at this
Well,
point.
how many people do you wanna have opinions on these lights?
It doesn't even exist yet, so, but it's,
Okay.
it's one of their, that's one of their official things that they've been tasked with doing right now, so.
So do we give it to them to come back to us?
No,
let-
right now,
no.
there isn't anything.
No, that's what I'm saying, but
I think that's gonna be down the road also,
Okay.
so I think we need to continue with our due diligence.
Yes.
And then when we get to the point where we're ready to go out to bid, I think what Adeline is saying, that's when we, if we have the CAP established, working, then we can go and give it to them and say, hey, you got any ideas or thoughts? And before we put this out to bid, right?
And they do also, by the way, in the current form-based code thing, it does say. Control outdoor lighting for the safety of motorists and pedestrians, as well as aiding in law enforcement functions and reducing crime through proper design of outdoor lighting to ensure nighttime appearance is consistent with the overall community goals and blah, 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 blah. So it does already mention a lot of things that we just talked about here, so.
Yeah, we don't wanna introduce any mechanism that might slow it down. We've been talking about this for
Oh, yeah,
very
A
long
year
time
at
already,
least.
you know, so. Like to keep the momentum going. And-
Yeah.
I mean, the uptown, the bid board of directors really right now is still down for.
yeah, it is. I just,
I mean, it's
there's,
gonna go to us anyway.
I don't remember which month that we were officially having an
It was
uptown
like
meeting,
once a
but
quarter.
we
I
should
think.
be in an uptown bid
Mm.
session when we make that
Yeah.
call, so.
How big is the issue with the conduit being cracked?
It allows
Is
water to come in, it's.
Are we talking money or are we just some maintenance that has to be done?
Until it's dug up outside of the hand hole in the ground.
Mhm.
I don't know how to give you an answer.
Is that the conduit in and below the base or the conduit in the pole?
Below in the ground.
And that you won't know until you get in there and start working on it.
Okay, which could be an added cost, okay.
Right.
Yeah, you're gonna have to have some contingency in there to cover.
Put a little contingency money in there to cover for additional unexpected expenses, so.
Okay.
Along the Middle Cheshire Road easements for new path, sidewalk, trail.
That's in there, there's I don't know, was it 26 easements?
I think it was,
24.
I think I counted 32 on that
And I
list.
couldn't remember exactly,
Yeah.
so.
Remember, we did a loose count last meeting, whatever. Can't believe it was
These
24,
are-
but this
Oh,
is
yeah,
what,
This
you
is
know, this is the actual list.
Right, so, we wanted to bring it up because now it's the easement, I don't have it in front of me. I wish I printed it off. There's also several trees that are in our way. And I wanted to discuss with everybody that, are we willing to replace trees that we take down in order to get the easement, which is, there's a
with my
cost.
property, you would be.
Well, that's a cost to like put together, also with trees. And there's a couple spots that are on eBay.
You think it's- There are 17 trees that are in the way of the,
Yeah, from that
Yeah.
concept alignment, I went through and just kind of highlighted which ones were
how
on.
big are the trees?
Oh,
Well, some of them are big,
some are big,
some are like probably 24 range DVH, it's kind of size.
they're big trees.
Yeah, they're big ones.
So that being said, in order to, we should probably have some sort of discussion with these residents ahead of time. Just feel them out to get an idea if they're interested in the easement or not. If they're not, what do we gotta do to make this path work down through here? Then what is in our way then?
Mhm.
Cause there could be, on that side is, I believe Frontier's poles, or on that side of the road. And what would it take to move those? I don't know, I mean, these are just, this is part of the
Just
thought
thinking what I'm
of,
thinking. Poles are still up from 2 years ago.
yeah. You know, it's something that we should have a conversation with these folks to see how they feel about
Oh,
it.
yeah.
Because we got.
Yep.
And to know what direction the town board or this group wants to go with on the path.
Is it? In here?
First hand that'll go up at the meeting will be, who's gonna maintain the site?
Sidewalk, yeah, so there is.
First
It's not a sidewalk, it's a trail.
Little
Who's
trail.
gonna maintain the trails?
There's $1,200 per tree for being removed.
It just depends, I mean, that cost just
I was
depends
just saying,
on
it
like
might
what,
depend on the tree, cause some
It
of them-
does.
How many
But it's
It's
just
just a
minutes?
number, because
yeah, it's a placeholder.
they may say, put in 4
I mean, it
trees,
could-
get rid of this tree.
Well, that's the,
Do
I mean,
me a
that's what
favor.
happens when you negotiate on the easement, like, it could be, like, I take out 1 tree, I'm giving you 2 trees, that's a possibility, but.
Okay,
I mean, you can work this out as, there's a tree removal and replacement, you're probably replacing with like a, an 1.5, 2 inch caliper type tree, so.
If it was my property, you would,
well, I always get those pines out front.
I would want,
Cause you can't, I mean, it's not reasonable to try to replace with like a
A
8
10
inch or a
no,
10
I
inch,
know that,
like that's, these seats.
but you can get a
that
3 or 4 inch caliper, it's
It's
25
hard.
to $1,000 bucks.
Yeah, but it's hard to find 3 and 4 inch caliper trees on like a large scale, right?
Well, but it's not
Even
a large
17
scale.
trees would be pretty tough if you had to get 4 17 inch trees, that'd be tough. I mean, cause Garden Factory probably has, and they're like one of the biggest ones in the area.
They're usually like-
They'll have like maybe 10 total of like probably 3 inch caliper trees.
Well, yeah, but that's really.
So I'm bringing to your attention that.
I get
But this print's really small.
He's
For my eye.
If you just turn it,
Yeah,
if you
I
just
know.
turn it sideways, it gets bigger.
Yeah. Yeah, right. Does this have in it well, you've given us a number of $750. That was more for filing fees and stuff like that.
For like
that's just
easements,
for
that's just
easements.
easements, that's just to acquire the
But
easements.
that's not in here, any of that.
I mean, that would probably fall down in your engineering lien and I mean, if you're looking at an overall budget cost, it'd be, buried in that.
So that,
Line
all
item.
that is in here then,
Yeah, that
In
that
this
would, that
1.1.
would baked into this, this, or
1.2
1.1,
million.
yeah, 1.2, yeah, they all baked in there.
Wonder if that's written in here. Well, at what point do you ask people about this, because we don't have an extra $1.2 million in our pocket right now, so.
Oh, I think this would probably come up under the capital planning portion that the town board needs to talk about.
Which is scheduled like quarterly on our new 2-meeting month schedule.
Right.
But do you want, again, like with the sewer projects, we got to a certain point, we involved the public, here's what we're thinking about doing, we got, Jim came through the County Road 28 tour. We went to Cheshire, we had those people together, we had numbers, here's what we want to do, and we were prepared to move ahead. Because we had, grant money available, stuff like that. Here, we have no clue what we're gonna do. So when do you go to the public and say, we need easements on your property, these 32 properties, get them all together to make a presentation? I don't think we're at that point right now, certainly, but,
Well, we're always gonna need the easement, that's fine.
well, yeah, but do you want to excite people positively or negatively? Now, or now being, in the next few months or something.
But if you do talk to the public, you could talk to them, this is probably a 5-year window or something along those lines,
Well, that's the question I'm asking,
Yeah.
what do you all think about We can present that to the town board too, so what do you guys think, you know?
Well, I think you should get a feel first of the easements to see how much,
As we say, that's,
a yay or nay.
right,
And if we got nays, we gotta look at what could be done in that property in the right of way.
Well, we had a series of meetings with, people in that area, when that active transportation plan was being put together, we had one out at, wasn't it Crosswoods?
Crosswoods,
Yeah. And, you know, we had a bunch of people, not everybody, but we had a bunch of people there that had some interest in it, and,
And door to door, I brought it up too, so there's, people are looking for it, some people, I mean, obviously there's gonna be some people that aren't wanting it.
How do they feel?
Most people were,
They
I
want a
ran
sidewalk for the house?
into a couple people were like, please, yes, do this tomorrow, so, I mean, there's a lot of
These
people walk it, yeah,
Oh.
these people, cause I was specifically talking to them when I went door to door saying, hey, wondering how you feel about this, cause I knew they'd be needing
know.
easements, so. And they were, I mean, obviously I wasn't stopping by the empty lots, they might have a different feel on the empty lots, but
so this,
the houses that were right across from Crosswinds, that section, I didn't encounter a lot of negativity, so.
this gets us to the bypass.
That gets you to the bypass.
It
Well,
doesn't-
the bypass being gets you to the trail, not to the bypass.
right,
Switchback.
the switchback trail,
It's
it's the switchback trail. They go,
Oh, yeah,
you tie in
yeah.
from like
Yeah,
Doesn't
that-
get you
Oxbridge all the way down,
corner.
right?
there's nothing, the other side of the bypass to continue into Parish Street where there is sidewalk
City.
system into the city.
I think that,
So
that very
should
area,
that be,
I
part
would
of
leave it out, cause you're gonna have to have some sort of engineering design to go to the state of New York to explain how you're gonna get people across that road and where.
cross of the light?
I understand what you're saying, but that's not how it necessarily works at regional office.
Works that way all through the city.
No, I mean, like, they wanna see a plan, they wanna have something that says, how you gonna do this?
People stop, they look
I,
up at the
Terry,
light.
I understand exactly, I get it,
I'm an
buddy.
outsider, I'm an outsider, my son works for the state, it's very difficult. 'cause
Well, I know dealing with the state is
Okay.
difficult, but I'm just saying
Yeah.
that,
I know what you're saying.
I mean, the whole idea, when this
Oh,
active
this grass and
transportation plan
then, and
was
that's,
put
yeah,
together,
it's a dual lane on,
It went
asphalt,
from-
multi-purpose truck.
it actually went
Nice,
from,
nice.
Westlake Road up,
Well,
well,
countered
the
with us being able to.
whole length.
It'd be
of
tight, 'cause
Middle
you'd have to
Cheshire,
strip
Wow.
up, do like
and
a
then
broken
crossing
stripe,
over
and
the
have that little
bypass,
sleeve
it went all the way into the hospital area.
Hospital area.
That was the whole
Original,
plan,
yeah.
this is, you know, like a subsection of it, but this is just continuing the trail from where it ends by,
Fox Ridge.
Foxwood Trail comes up. Is
into
this all
the-
concrete, right?
you know,
That's proposed.
Yeah,
this
that's
is,
proposed.
what's out there now is asphalt.
That's what I say.
Roughly.
Yeah,
But, I mean, the original plan
I
was
like
to
those,
carry
yeah,
it all the
but
way
it's about a
through.
5-foot grass buffer.
I agree with you, I'm just saying,
Well, I'm just saying, should we consider that as part of this, because this only gets you through the bypass. You gotta stop and turn around, or you go down the switchback trail,
I
or you
would,
turn around and go back home.
I would love to get it up there, Terry, and I think as soon as we can get that on that as possible, and if we can somehow signal to the state that that's the direction we're going.
Yeah.
That'll
I mean,
take,
we can always reach out to
It
Greg
just
Pros.
changes things.
Well, yeah,
and just let them know, but I mean, you know, I look at this as like, you know, it's kind of like any one of these trails or sidewalk jobs, you gotta take incremental steps, right? You just can't, you're not gonna bite it all off at one thing. We go all the way over to, you know, tie into the, and I know that's what it should, you know,
Mhm.
wanna look at the grand scheme, of it, but it
Gets
might
you
end
in
up
the
being a
city.
number so big that you won't actually do it.
Well, this number now is 1.2 million.
That's based on bid numbers too, though, so I'm like, you know, if the town decides that they wanna take on some of this work.
Well, the sidewalk we wouldn't do, we'd have somebody cast in place with a sheet.
Right, but you guys
We
can
would,
prep.
we could do the prep work, but like
Exactly,
the
so-
concrete part, they would have somebody install.
Yeah, absolutely, so, but I mean, you know, so none of that is factored in here, there's some, you know, there are some savings that could probably come off here, that depends on what the town would wanna put into it.
Yeah, well, maybe you shave a few $100,000 off it, something like that, but it's still $1 million by the time
Yeah.
you're done.
And you still pay one way or the other. You're paying.
It's,
Not
if
saving,
your people are
you're still
doing
paying.
it, they're not doing something else, so.
Right.
I get what you're saying. So, no, I think we should start with field out the neighbors and see what they think, and if
Well,
there's a way to, um, can feel them out, so we know what the next time might be.
Why don't we just get our next town board meeting, or I don't know, the next one. Or Bill Payne or anything, but get our next opportunity, just bring it up to the town board and say, we want to look at these two people that are here, you know, so we wanna hold a public, meeting and, see what people take temperature, see what they like or don't like.
Or maybe we can send like just do a, like,
Yeah,
survey,
yeah.
you know, like one of those loose surveys that we've done
Yeah,
before.
we could do that.
At least as maybe an initial step versus trying to do full information. They're all either way is like hit and miss. Sometimes you have like a meeting, no one
Well,
shows
yeah.
up, and then you send the mailers out and no one responds, so I get it.
What do you think, Jen?
I think that we have a few projects right now that are on the cusp of saying we either go forward or we don't go forward with them. And I think that the board needs to prioritize which ones are the most immediate and then make a decision on which ones we're gonna fund and which ones we're gonna move forward with.
That's a
So-
question that we should be bringing up. and
Yes,
asking.
so we have Outhouse Park Road, we have Purdue Road, we have this potential project, we have County Road 28. Which ones are we gonna go forward with, which ones are we not gonna go forward with? That's, to me, the part, I'm all for going full speed ahead with the ones where we have decided we're gonna move forward with. That's my problem. I
Well, one of the
don't know if
two
I'm
meetings a
articulating.
month, yeah, I hear you, yes, I mean, we all have that same concern, what are we? And we've identified $163 million worth of projects for the town, which is 10 times our annual budget for everything we do. I agree with that I think one of the, the first meetings of the month are the ones where we're gonna have committee reports, and we're gonna have the bid come in, and one of them's capital planning, so I mean, that's the place to ask this question, I think. When we have that first one talking about capital.
Right.
That's the question.
Yeah, I mean,
Prioritize these things and. get
and
moving.
not to pick on this particular project, okay, but I'm just gonna use it as an example. I mean, if we say we're gonna go move forward with getting these easements, that means we gotta go and compensate MRB or someone to go out and get these easements, right? Or the town's gonna have to do it, or whatever the case may be. And I say, if this project ends up being number 6 of the top 10, well, then we have to go and put a timeline to it. And if the top 4 go within the next couple of years and the bottom 6 aren't gonna go for the next 5 years, I'd say, why do we invest the money now to have somebody go and do the easements when the other top 4 projects are ready to go right now? This one might not be ready to go for 4 or 5 years. Now, I'm not saying, I'm just using this one as an
Right.
example. I'm not saying that's gonna be the case for this particular one, but so I think we need to put our efforts as a committee and as a team on those projects which we know we want to move forward with ASAP.
Well, when we have that next meeting, we've got some numbers now, so we've
Yep.
identified what the
Right.
costs are gonna be.
Right.
So we throw this into that hopper, we know
Right.
a couple others, we have numbers for other projects, Outhouse Road, we have,
Yeah.
you know,
We got-
lighting, and we have all these things.
Well, we got, the other one is we got that road we gotta put in for Geneco too, right? I mean, there's just, the more I sit here, you know, I'm gonna keep coming up with other projects we've talked about.
I know, that's, well,
We just gotta prioritize them somehow.
yeah, that's up to the town board,
Yeah.
but now we have this identified, so we got something to talk about.
Right.
I don't know, is it easier to take on the ones that are $1 and $2 million, or do we still concentrate on $10 million worth of roadways or water lines, ACP pipe replacement?
That's part of the
That's for
conversation.
that
Well,
group to decide.
You know, we just went and authorized $239,000 for a fire station roof. You know, where do we come up with that money? And then, I mean, I can keep coming up with them.
Oh,
There's so many of them.
163 million.
Yeah.
That's the total we bumped up with, so.
If-
But that's the place to do it, is when we have that capital planning meeting.
Yeah, and if we're bonding, we can do more than one at a time. so.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, you put a bunch of them together.
Yeah.
you know,
Right.
not much
particularly
of
ones that
a-
make sense. And North Road, we just put in yesterday the application for the grant, so that would be significantly lower cost if we were able to get that, so. I really hope we do, it's such a good fit for the grant
It is, but unfortunately, it's not a lot of money that's
in the.
out in the
pool,
grant to
yeah.
pool, so.
They need to give us something, they're not giving us something in a while.
Yeah, just realizing like when you go through the state program, like your costs is
Yeah.
gonna actually go, I mean, your total project cost is probably gonna go up. Yeah, you might get grant supplementation.
Yeah.
But you know,
We have to pay
it's,
prevailing wage anyway now, so.
but that's not, it's not, it's just all the, it's all the rules and all the hoops everyone has to jump through for DOT projects. It's just, it adds costs.
You need town board approval to go and approach these people, or
No,
is it something we could do with just a information letter? or-
I will happily
How do we do
Cause
that?
I think,
You knock on their door.
How do we
you
do
talk
that?
to them.
Does someone from the town go and knock on doors, Jim?
yeah, someone's going knock on doors,
I think you gotta find the kind of interest these people have,
right,
cause you're either gonna get pushback, if you do, then you either gotta redesign. You're certainly not gonna go to court,
no.
condemn these members, I mean, you're not gonna go through condemnation, so. You have to know how on board these people are, I think
Right.
that's, and that could
Yeah.
determine your priority as to if
Might help.
you get a lot of pushback,
Right.
it's like the sewer jobs.
Or
You know, we,
town board when
we've
they're
canned
talking
sewer
capital
jobs
planning,
before,
they
we
say
got
this
no
doesn't
interest.
rate very high, so let's not bother.
Yeah.
I mean, it could go either way.
You also have now lists of like, for the
Yeah.
planning board at least, you know,
Mhm.
we can
Oh,
ask,
yeah,
we
no.
can add it somehow to the
I'm looking at
application.
any
We
vacant
can-
lot out there, I know
We
there's,
should be asking
there's
for
one for
easements.
sale,
There is 1% right now.
you ever build,
Right.
easement.
Yeah.
Give it to us.
Well, that's part of the discussion we have to have.
I mean, this has been, and when it talks about priorities, I mean, this has been. Fleet Streets Committee asked for this in 2017. The Trails Committee asked for this in 2009. So this has been a long-term priority to get this completed since it started to be built, so. So it's not, you know, it is, I had a number of residents ask about it. It's actually one of the things that drove me to run for town board, so it is definitely,
It's definitely a
I
need.
think it's definitely a need.
Mhm.
It is the last piece preventing people from being able to walk to the city from the southern border.
People certainly walk there,
They absolutely do, and they walk
Yeah.
where it isn't as
and they walk
well.
out in the street.
You got a lot of traffic. on
And
the
I've
road,
seen,
too.
I've seen people commuting on
Okay.
this in January by foot, so.
Okay, well, let's move along
Speaking
to.
of North Reading.
Well, yeah, I just wanted to, the application for submitted, and Greg, when do you think you might announce, any idea?
If it's a-
September?
Yeah, I would give it a good solid, 6 months from now.
I have champagne and all that.
Right. We'll see.
If the town is successful with obtaining this grant, it will push this project back. Cause there's a lot of crap to go through to even get to starting the project.
I'm just looking at the culvert job is like, the letting is for 25, right? That's the
Right.
plan, is 25, so I mean, the DOT will probably push the letting for this, probably into 26.
And then the board,
That's when you put out the bid.
Oh,
it takes a year just to go through all the stuff they want you to get done before you even start construction, when you get these grants. It's just
up to 5 million.
up to, not for
I think our total project cost we put in was like just,
6.
yeah,
Around 6.
around, 5, 6.
Grant would pay,
I want to say the grant was like
25%,
a,
I thought was matched.
yeah, I was gonna say 75, 25.
Okay.
Understand that the
We'll take it.
board will need to have that money to pay ahead of time, then you get reimbursed. It's not like they give you the money that's in the bank,
No,
okay, just so everybody knows.
Which is
like,
part of the paperwork.
Yeah.
Well, you're gonna,
You need to
if you
pay.
got the money, you're gonna increase your budget by $5 million.
Yeah, or take out a
Which-
ban.
Take
we
out a
take
ban.
advantage, yeah.
Well, I understand that,
Yeah.
I just make sure we here knows that.
Well, so I mean, that's probably,
So you got your ban,
$100,000.
which you'll pay interest on,
yeah,
which will be part of the cost of the project,
right,
so.
eventually you get, hopefully,
What was that
Exactly.
date on the announcement? I'm sorry.
Probably some,
It's, I was gonna say, yeah, I would say it's probably 6 months at least.
Do we have a capital project for this yet?
sorta.
We should finish that up before it gets there anyway, so.
Well,
We
we,
did anyway.
I think there was discussion about
Yeah.
road and sidewalk, it was discussion,
And, where to split it,
yeah,
we have to figure that out.
so,
Those split between the,
Mhm.
complete streets and
Yeah.
highways. So that being said, that's in and we'll see what comes of it.
So let me ask you a question about this particular project. Is this one that's on the list and we need to prioritize this one also? Or
For
is this one
me, it's
It's
committed
top.
to?
I
For
think
me,
this one's
it's,
top.
the road's toast. And we purposely done nothing to the road until Farmington finished the watering. I say Farmington, Kittigo Farmington Water District.
Mhm.
That part is done now. So culvert pipes I know are all rotted out the bottom. The catch basins are failing. The drainage is poor, the road base is poor.
So
So to me,
you're advocating that this ought to be one of the top priorities?
yeah, I would,
Yeah.
encourage the town board to
Yeah.
Has to be
move forward on North Road.
But we haven't actually formally said as a board, move forward with this, we're gonna move forward. or-
no, we just keep
No.
talking about it.
Yeah,
Well, but we've
so-
got all the engineering
We
now
got it.
and everything.
So in other words, this goes
This
in-
one,
to the same
this is one
conversation.
that's kind of shovel ready in
Yeah,
a
yeah,
sense,
This is
you know,
ready to go.
it's just where the.
Yeah.
Where's the money come from?
Right, we gotta decide.
Yeah, we're hoping 75% of it comes from the state.
Well, hopefully,
So-
Which they get their money from us too, so.
Yes. But we want 75% of it back.
We want some other people. So 6 months from now, we might hear on this, and we may hear that, well, you didn't qualify, so then it becomes.
Yes, then we got, well, I, and if,
Yeah, that's a different
we
problem.
definitely have to bond or do something for this if we didn't, so
Correct, we would have
we
to
have to.
ban it till it was completed and which leads to like what John was saying, like,
Mhm.
what other roads do you wanna do if you're in a bond?
In my opinion, it's really this Middle Cheshire and North Road, these two are the most ready to go and the most needed right now, in my opinion, so. But with North higher on the list, so.
All right. Number 4 here, the William Grant
Yes.
application.
grant.
So.
That's World War II part A.
I looked at it.
This is another
It's
W.
W.
It's
Sorry.
World War II
Okay.
A grant.
It's been around for a
Alright,
long
So
time.
we get to where you wanna talk right here. Maybe
Well,
we can
so
move that
Jim-
up
Jim
and get out of
asked-
here.
What's it W?
Yeah, do you wanna, you can jump that up.
Let's do that, let's
Yeah.
go to
Oh,
the County Road 28
I'm
petition
sorry to
for.
interrupt
Oh.
here, but you know.
Gentleman has places to go.
Yes,
Pick
yes,
up
yes.
the
you
date.
can tell it's not a
Thanks.
priority.
Well, this is where I.
It's
Well,
a
we
You
priority.
cover this quick.
Yeah,
So- I had the petitions done and I agreed with both, so they carry them, I just didn't get done this week, so it's my fault. I just-
That's what I wanted to hear.
Okay.
They're ready to go, they're all.
You did all this just so you could blame Jim.
Well, it's my fault, it's state
This
board
is-
office.
this
So
is
the
not-
mayor is
this is
upset with the
not an
deputy
easy-
mayor of
This
28.
is not an easy topic, because he knows.
So, you know, I've had, still having, people are simmering, we'll
Yeah.
say about it, they're not opposed, they're not for, they're kind of in between.
Mhm.
So I don't, we'll find out, so. David Allied said they would go out this week, but I didn't get that far, so I'll check with them the next 2 weeks to see if we
I
can
know
get it. So,
Tuesday, is that right?
I got ready, so.
Okay.
Again,
Did
a
you-
positive bit of information, at least interest rates look like they're dropping.
You the one time said that you'd be
Oh,
willing
rates
to
are up.
go.
Interest
Yeah, I can go as
Interest
much
rates.
as I can, I got one
Yeah,
titanium
well,
leg here.
Maybe you
so-
go to, maybe you go to your neighbors.
I could borrow John's,
Yeah.
no, I should go get one from the VA, cause I'm going to motorized.
Oh, yeah, you
Sure,
can
well,
that,
I think-
just drive that tractor around.
Yeah, I can drive my
Fine.
tractor, you see me go up and down.
I know, I
28
go to
Road.
the 20-year-old.
I get out there today, cause it's supposed to snow this weekend, you know,
Yeah.
he
But-
can plow a track for you.
But gentlemen, you're right, because I've talked to different people, some people are on the fence, I mean, I know some people that. When I read the last letter, I didn't bring it with me, like people went to Florida, I know some people
Yeah.
went to Florida, that they're just dead ends against it,
Right.
you know what I mean? but so.
They're in Florida now, so
I
you
was
don't
gonna
worry
say,
about
but
that.
still, that's a no vote though, correct,
Right.
as I read it,
It
so
doesn't-
it's still a no
Yeah.
vote.
Yes.
Yeah,
So-
so again, it doesn't, I mean,
Uh,
not to say it doesn't matter, but at the end of the day, it's like, you just gotta get to the, if you can get to 50%, that's all that really
right, right,
matters.
so I've talked to some people, I mean, at one time we were using $2,000, I was using $2,000 a figure, you
Yeah.
know,
Around there. yeah.
around there. And I said to him, look at the cost of 40,000, I didn't use 30, look at the cost of 40,000, what you're gonna pay, and if you gotta borrow from the bank at 6 or 7% versus what you're gonna pay here, and so I was taking, $200 a month, $50 a week, that's why I try to sell it,
Right,
it's $50 a week, more, you know,
Got a great sales.
to have the convenience of the sewer.
Yeah.
I didn't get into the quarterly maintenance costs, which I know, I went through this in Gorham and had to, it came out. So
But
I
it
try
also
to sell it,
increases the
I-
house, the resale value of the homes too, so.
but I had one person say to me, well, they're
Plus
gonna,
your
plus, they're gonna put a lien on my house. No, they're not putting any lien on your house.
Yeah.
I have to be careful, cause I'm
Why
a
is
former
it?
assessor, I'm a
Right.
former assessor, how I talk to these people, okay? So I gotta say, well, I don't talk about increasing the value of a house, because
Yeah.
first thing they say, oh, the tax rate's going up.
yeah,
Yeah, that's true.
It increases the resale
Yeah, it's resale, exactly.
time of your house.
Yeah.
Not the value.
Yeah.
You gotta be careful when you talk to these people, you see what I'm saying?
I do.
So that's how I've been trying to talk to these people. It's not only, it's a convenience, but it's cost saving over. I say, how long are you gonna live in your house? Me, I'm 85 years old. If I'm there 5 more years, maybe I am. Then it passes on to you because I sold it to you. So
Right.
it's not the debt on my back for the rest of my life, but some people look at that.
Right.
Yeah,
So I have to be careful how I talk to these people because, being an assessor, they're, so. You're on the right approach to get the petition out, and then, like John says, then you see what the bottom line, either it's yes or no, so then you scrap that project, you move another one up, you're right.
Yeah.
To do the project.
well, this one's tough to tell, because the first meeting we had with people
It's very
was
positive.
overwhelmingly positive.
And then the
And
one
the second
meeting,
one was. the
it was
opposite.
16 to
Right.
14, but
Kinda,
I mean, I went to a couple of neighbors, there's a widow lady, I says, I'll pick you up and bring you to the meeting,
Mhm.
they want it, but they don't attend.
yeah,
Right.
Mhm.
well,
So
that's
we gotta
the
go
only
there.
way,
That's by door to door.
you have to go this way
Yeah.
anyhow, right, that'll tell us what the.
I mean, I look at a lot too also.
Just
Well-
start with me. and then-
No, don't be like, I can get people around me also, that I feel comfortable going to.
Well, he knows where I live, so he can knock on
I
my
call
door
it
anytime.
Right.
That's fine.
Right,
You,
Fletcher?
you have all the
Yes.
petitions
You know
there,
why.
just,
I just roll on my distance.
I mean, you signed this today.
Okay.
Yeah, sign us,
Well,
and then-
I will drop it off for him, because I don't know where it's in that pile, so.
Well, I appreciate you moving me up.
Oh, sure.
And I'll look
Should have
at
done it in
it.
the beginning.
No, I was
Okay.
interested to see the
can
project
keep
you're
hanging
going,
out and see the
what
rest
you
of
got going, but you're right, yeah, prioritize, put them
Oh,
in a way that, cause you got X number of dollars to work on. You guys
yeah.
got.
Actually, you don't have X.
Right.
Problem.
Yeah, we have to ask somebody
Listen,
for X.
I could take you up to the
Yeah,
VA
license.
and show that 6 year, 6 man, it's ongoing, and you talk about the Army Corps of Engineers, I see these guys up here from Kentucky,
Mhm.
and they still can't figure things out.
$400 million.
know that.
Yeah.
See, I mean, so,
Or
It's-
$100
I see this going on, so gentlemen,
All right,
ladies
Joe.
and gentlemen, thank
Thank
you for
you.
your time,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
we'll see how it goes, keep the faith.
Okay.
Where's the donuts?
No donuts today, buddy.
Oh, boy, boy. Thanks, guys.
No, we have a,
Thirty-first.
Bill.
Monday's Martin Luther King.
Or just, we're just paying bills Monday.
One day.
Not this Monday, but the last Monday of the month.
Definitely
Yeah.
this month.
Yeah,
Well, there'll wind up being other stuff, I imagine.
okay.
I mean, we're not gonna get
Yeah,
into
that-
capital.
Right.
So we don't have it.
No, the next one's the 31st.
Jared had put together a schedule for what, each of those second meetings.
And that's not on our,
Yeah, so I don't remember which.
It's the second meeting or first meeting?
The first
The
thing
first
is
meeting of the month
It's been
is
out
gonna
yeah,
be
correctly, though, so
committee
that's just-
report,
yeah.
capital planning,
That
bid,
happens
all
a
that.
lot.
The second meeting
That's one of the things.
is
that we-
like
Because I
the
didn't know what
normal
calendar
meeting we
is.
had, you know.
kinda went to what.
resolutions and all that.
Is that first and fourth of the
I
month,
think we did.
January.
first Monday and fourth Monday?
No, I think
What are we
it's
doing for the town
not first and
ordinance?
fourth, right? It's
Second
second and
and
fourth.
Second,
Second.
fourth,
That's-
Yeah, second and fourth.
second, yeah.
And by,
Okay, well,
by the way, I'm gonna be sending it out later, but we're gonna do finance committee meetings on the second Thursday now, so I'll send you guys a note, so. So, nothing till February, don't have to wait till February, so.
coming up,
Okay, back to World War II.
back to World War II,
Yeah, so,
2A,
Yes, that's just the first
it's a
part.
follow-up war.
I want to get this committee to do, MRV to do a WIA grant application for us, not to get up to $5 billion for WIA, and then you can also do it,
Oh, it's every year now.
yes.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
it
good.
used to be like, so when we did our first project, the WIA was capped out at 3 million. And then they gave you like a 5-year cool down.
Yeah,
It was
yeah,
basically, you couldn't reapply. You could apply on the wastewater side, but you couldn't apply on the drinking water side. They since revised the rules. Now the cap is 5 million. And then it's an annual, you can get a WIA award on an annual basis.
And I wanna do this to start, see if we find money to replace water in our system.
So to apply for a WIA grant.
Spongy
You'll
water?
need a
Yeah.
preliminary engineering report, you'll need to pass a bond resolution, and you'll need to complete seeker. Well, you need to complete seeker to do the bond resolution, so you'll need all three of them and complete the smart growth, I think, with DEC now. So there's like 4 things that have to happen in that kind of time frame. So what Jim was asking me was for the dates for the 24 calendar for WIA. They're not out yet, and that's pretty much typical for the state. So the WIA grants have come out in prior years in July. Last year it was in May. I don't know why it was in May last year, so all we can say is that it might be as early as May of 24. And then they were due, it used to come out in June, then be due at the end of July. So this was May, but I think last year they even extended the deadline to like August, middle of August, kind of time frame. So it's not like a set thing, we have to just kind of react to it. We know it's, late spring, early summer kind of time frame is when they're due. So I think that was the follow part of this is like, we're gonna have to get into a PER at some point in time to be able to make that application.
What's the match for these?
Well, let's put 3 million, so we'll get $8 million project overall.
Yeah, so we wanna cap that 5 million.
What specifically would we be naming as target, like the asbestos pipe or?
The asbestos concrete pipe, yeah, we like to.
Cause we have data, I mean, we have
So it's up to
electric scans come in.
60%.
Right, we do,
Those
and
costs.
I like to look in the area of
That they
Bristol
grant,
Road.
so we have to come down 40.
your end of
What,
the
it's,
water main, Middle Church
it's
Road,
not
and
truly a
not-
match grant, right?
and reasons,
There's
those areas there were like,
Let's just
If
have one
we found
conversation.
some other grant.
those were some of the hotter areas of deterioration that we found. When we did electro scan,
So
just
what
due
do
to
we,
soil conditions.
you got to do a PER,
Yeah, up to a preliminary
what,
engineering report.
what's the cost to get us to the point where we can apply for the WIA grant?
Well, you gotta do the PER, and then you'll have to do the seeker. You'll have to involve bond council to get the bond resolution, and then there's the actual grant application. The WIA grant application, I think it's like around like 5-6 grand, somewhere in that range. The PER is probably 25 to 30, because it's not a complicated PER, 'cause it's basically just gonna be like water main replacement, so it's more or less kind of
40?
straightforward. No, well, you mean total?
Overall,
Oh,
Yeah, overall, yeah, yeah,
We
you're probably gonna come close to, yeah, I don't think it'll be more than 40, but yeah, probably gonna get close to 40.
it's not budgeted though.
it's not budgeted, but we need to.
Well, I know,
It's just,
again,
We should start budgeting it every year if it's gonna be available every year.
so,
we did this for this pipe, we put this application together, we applied. If we didn't get it, you could
Reapply.
reapply using the same, do they
Just
penalize
update.
you at all, or, I mean, you
No.
update it with any.
No,
cost, but-
yeah, you'd update it if there's change in cost, but I mean, generally speaking, for this type of project, that's probably gonna be a minimum of 2 years anyways. Just because they haven't been funding, initially like the direct line replacements, but Cohocton, you know, that's water main replacement, that one, they won this past year, so. They've been funding a lot of like the emergent contaminants. You know, that's been their, so a lot of it's been like Hudson Valley and those areas have been soaking a lot of the WIA grants, so, but you know, at some point in time, all those projects come off, and I think they'll get back to, you know, some of the just
No.
infrastructure replacement.
They like to show us red too, they do like to show us.
Yeah, exactly, so I mean, you know, we've already won one, so I'm like, I think, you know, we obviously stand a pretty good chance of winning another one, but I don't think it's necessarily gonna be, you know, a slam dunk right off the gate, because the last project, we had tankage, we had pump stations, and we hit on all like the buzzwords.
Right.
So, this one will probably be a little less competitive, so it might take a couple rounds, to get through it.
So the bulk of it.
But you don't have to do like seeker and bond resolution each, you know,
Mhm.
the reapply is pretty simple, you know,
Yeah, well,
we've done that for $500 or whatever, it's not a big deal.
So I was gonna ask Greg to bring a proposal to us to discuss. I'd like to have him bring a proposal for us to discuss,
Yeah, oh, absolutely, I think we should.
and then we can go from there.
Okay,
Excuse me,
take
I gotta
our-
run.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah,
See you, John,
Meeting
have a good weekend.
dates, you want anything wrong with Fridays?
Yeah, we gotta come up with meeting dates, so
And
probably be the same as, you know, what we've been doing.
I like our Fridays, it's nice.
I'm comfortable.
Yeah.
okay,
we'll do it.
Thank you.
all right,
See ya.
thank you, have a good day.
Take care, have a good weekend.
Bye-bye.
All right, so. That would just bring something to the.
Yeah.
board meeting or well.
I'll bring it here for us to
Okay,
discuss.
yeah. Okay, probably, yeah.
Oh, you would help, John, that's fine.
I'll sign it.
Right.
Oh, it's like, as long as you see looking down the shoulder of that road. It's like, no, so no, what I was explaining is, Adeline had asked, if it was a match. WIA is not a match grant, WIA is just, it's capped. So I'm like, if there was other funding that was coming into it, it wouldn't necessarily count against you. Right, so, and it's not like you have to like, you know, necessarily show that you have. The funds available, like we have these 75-25, like they wanna know that you have the
Yeah, that's what I
25 for
was
sure,
doing, yeah.
right? So it's not, doesn't work, it's not exactly like a matching grant, but it's a cap grant.
I'm just wondering what we need to have
Mhm.
planned, ready to spend, so.
But I mean, if you think about it, you know, the last job we did
Sounds like we need
was
a
like
capital
almost, it was almost
Yeah.
8 and we only got 3, so this time if we'd spent 8, we'd, you know, we'd get 5, I think that's, I mean, it's, the program's that much better.
That was the tank.
Yeah, it was nice, we got 3 million for that.
Where would, if we were successful and got a $5 million grant, how far would that go in terms of, you know?
Not as far as it used to.
Let's say,
$5 million worth.
20 feet.
I'm gonna say your 8 million job is probably very similar to your $5 million job it used to be. It's they're proud of that. And there's probably a reason why is what it is from the state, right?
Yeah, that's probably why they
if we
write
did,
it.
it's 200-foot soundball rate.
I mean, off the cuff,
I mean,
it's,
that's
I mean,
restoration,
I mean, that's probably high. It's, I mean, because it is,
For $8 million?
200 feet, $20 a foot.
yeah.
Oh, I'm like.
He's just trying to back into a number. So I mean, like, say like 175 or something like that. It's probably, you know, probably a reasonable.
I thought you were saying it was
So,
$8 million.
You would do 4.5 miles of water main.
Yeah.
4.5.
Yep. Yeah,
Close
so
to
that would be
10% of what we
a
have.
20th of what we have to replace.
But
Yeah,
at least,
what,
It's a
50,000?
start.
it's a good start, and then secondly, though, it's jumping, you're probably hitting you know, some of your worst locations, or at least
Oh,
what you think are your
At
worst
least it's
locations.
not 200 feet, I was gonna tell you if it was 200 feet.
No, We got
I'm
roughly-
like, I'm sitting here like, Jim, I'm not spending $8 million on 200 feet of anything.
We got roughly 50 miles of water main, so.
Don't play it.
It's like a plane.
Everything
$800
costs a crazy
million
amount of money, I got a quote from a contractor for 8 foot of 10-inch ductile iron spools, and it was 35 grand. I'm like, I'm sitting there, I'm like, I can't even, doesn't even make sense anymore, I challenged it, and like, you know, we went back and dug it up, I even talked to you about it, like, no, that's pretty much,
Yeah,
that stuff is just really
schools
expensive.
are expensive. I don't know why.
particularly
it's-
flan schools.
Yeah, they're just
like
expensive.
insanely expensive
So
right now.
don't use those.
Well, there's-
I don't even
Oh,
know. It's just, you just gotta
Grab
cycle it.
something else.
Alright, well, so you'll bring something to,
Yeah, I'll have it,
Yeah,
to-
we all February.
we'll have a proposal then for the next, what, you wanna say the next planning
well,
meeting to make
Yeah.
the board meeting, is that the right time?
have that schedule here.
What are you looking for?
Well, cause
Well,
it
when
would be
we-
the second Monday of that following month, so as long as our meeting was before that, we should reasonably be able to make that. I would
Yeah.
think.
Are you wondering where the
Yeah.
next town board meeting one is?
Yeah.
Well, I guess it would be a regular town board meeting, you'd have,
Right.
Yes.
it'll be a
True.
resolution,
31st, we've got that's the
Yeah.
next regular town board
so it'll
meeting,
be
that's a
the
Wednesday.
Yeah.
second meeting in February,
Yes,
would be where you
Yeah,
have a
the February
resolution.
12th, we're having a bid meeting, February 12th.
okay, so that would leave me March
on that.
and April.
So the
No,
20
there's two now, so you'd have
Well,
February
26th.
26th would be the next regular meeting for the town board.
No, I know, I'm just saying, like, that leaves me basically 2 months to get it done, so that ready for the application, like, I know we're talking about like, summer and it's, we just started our winter, but like, I'm already sitting there going, wow, there's not a lot of time.
You could figure out how to spend $8 million like that, right?
Doesn't take as long as it used to.
No, he's
I know what you're
just a
talking
pen
about.
stroke, right, at this point in time. No, I'm just saying, so there's a lot to do, like, I mean,
Yeah,
cause you got a clear seeker, so I mean,
I
you
understand.
got about, 60 to 90 days of just that, so.
Alright, let's move on to FEMA progress, or lack of.
It's still a lack of,
Nothing
It's a bit-
really,
it's a bit brutal lately with the feds, so.
We done any push with our legislators with that at all?
No, I don't think they're gonna be able to do anything.
No, they
They're
just
so
try.
short staffed at FEMA,
Yeah.
and we got another new person again to look at our stuff and. She doesn't like what was put in last time, so we're doing it again.
so no movement.
Yay.
Yeah, right.
Cause I remember talking to you, you were just like, oh, I hate this stuff.
If it wasn't for the money, I'd
Yeah.
tell them to go.
Yep,
Screw.
yeah,
But that's why I ask about like, cause like Claudia Tenney's office will have entirely different people that she works with on these things and at FEMA. And I mean, you don't wanna constantly be like bugging them to do everything for you, but I mean, if you're really hitting roadblocks, you can always,
What we're hitting is redoing the paperwork for the third time is what I'm very frustrated with.
why are they not
I-
moving?
Because it's what they
It's
send
gotta-
me, it has
That's
to be
gotta be
still,
their way.
that, so that does sound like something that I would reach out to
Yeah.
Claudia Tenney on.
That's just what I'm
Cause
frustrated
that's just
with.
stupid. But, I mean, this is the, like, as somebody who's a former caseworker for state offices, that's exactly the kind of stuff when, when it gets onerous and ridiculous. You don't wanna constantly be working through them, but there's a point where you're like, hey, why does this keep happening this way? Is there some sort of disconnect here? What's going on? And she won't be talking to Joe Blow who's like, well, you didn't check section 8B. She's gonna be talking to Joe Blow's super boss, who's gonna be like, we don't really care about section 8B, so.
Might be
So
worth it, but
I would
it's just frustrating.
ask Jared to reach out to her on it, cause it's, or you can, but it's, I would try and get a different pool of people if you're getting that 3 times in a row, that's crazy.
Yeah, because like I talked to Hopewell and Gorham and their stuff is going just fine, but they have a different group of people.
oh,
So-
yeah, different,
They got totally
Different
different
people.
team.
yeah.
I'm like, I want that team.
Well, You can ask Tammy
Yeah.
to advocate for that. That's what I would do.
Anyways, we're gonna get money, it's just
When,
paid well, at least this summer sometime. Don't know exactly when, but this summer.
Okay, so let's move on, meeting dates.
Yep.
Just looking through the calendar, here, if we keep it on the first, and the Friday, the first full week of each month, there don't seem to be any complications.
Okay.
sounds good to me.
I mean, there are a few months there where, it starts on a Tuesday or Wednesday, but
You're not off Flag Day, are you?
No.
Okay, cause that's
Today.
one of the
is
Fridays.
What's that?
Okay, Flag Day.
He was concerned
I'll
about.
send
Friday.
I'll actually send out a calendar invite for the whole year.
Okay.
Because I'm always adding this meeting on like on Thursday or
Full
Wednesday.
week, not a partial week, but a full week of a Friday. Okay.
it appears that those are all. We mean, if we have to change one, we'll change it.
September, October's okay. The Yom Kippur.
We have a leap year this year, very exciting. So we got a whole extra day to figure out all our crap this year, everyone,
Yeah, you'll solve everything in that one.
that's right.
Only meeting I'll miss is next month,
Yeah, I'll
Right.
also miss next month,
the
so.
9th.
February 9th. What's the 9th?
It's our meeting, February 9th is our.
Well, I mean, is that, I mean, both of you are missing it. Or the two of you
I'll
going.
not tell.
I'm going to my gynecologist.
Oh.
If you'd really like to.
Alright. Thanks for your
I'm not
vote.
Chuck driving you or what?
No, Chuck is not driving.
I didn't say so many things.
Chuck is not
I
driving.
will, I'll be in Phoenix,
Oh, that's right, you're going, yeah.
not the gynecologist.
Is there a gynecologist in Phoenix?
Probably, I'm sure as hell hope so. But yeah, no, that, I actually I might just end up coming late to that meeting. On the second, so. I just didn't have it on my calendar yet, so stuff got.
Okay, so stick with that.
But other than that, I don't really see any issues.
All right, fire station number 2, roof and ventilation system. Well, we kind of,
And we got the roof approved by town board, we've got the insurance requirements that were submitted yesterday from
Yeah,
spring that went to Greg to
I just gotta-
review.
I gotta pop through those a little bit this afternoon.
Right,
and
that's-
try to get back. But honestly, it looked like he supplied just about everything. I mean, it looked good. I mean, he had 5 million under his general umbrella, he had, 1 and 2 million for his auto, so I mean, everything kind of falls in line. There wasn't anything, the only thing that, like I said before, was like, he's not providing it like a performance bond, so. Generally when you work with a new contractor like that, I'm like, I'd probably ask him for provide a performance bond just to protect the town, so that'll probably cost an extra couple grand when it's all said and done.
Two separate contractors?
No,
One's for the roof, one's about, it's all.
Oh, no, well, right now,
well, right
no,
now, we're just talking about the roof.
Yeah, right
Sorry,
now, we're talking
roof,
about the
okay,
roof, just
sorry,
the
Chuck.
That's all right.
We're not gonna ventilate it at all, we're just gonna put the roof.
Yes, we're just
Yeah,
gonna
it's
do
all-
it.
it's ventilated.
Yeah.
That's a great idea, Chuck.
That's the roof on.
Are you familiar with this company at all?
Yeah, I mean, so my Elton office has worked with the Spring Metal guys before, so I think we actually recommended in Spring, so that's how that kind of contact
Oh, okay,
came
so-
together.
What did he?
They're
So,
not
no, I mean,
reputable,
yeah, they're not like an unknown quantity, but it's,
No.
like I said, the performance bond to me is just because you haven't worked with them before, I would probably, if this was an actual bid job, there would be performance bond, so it makes sense to probably ask. for it.
When are we starting this?
He's waiting for a thumbs up,
Yeah, he's just waiting for us to say no, so it was.
He's got it.
so hopefully,
Well,
well, I know, but he
yeah,
wants to
we're
make sure he's
just-
got his insurance
Insurance
together.
requirements were submitted correct, so,
Oh, that's what you're waiting for.
no, we got them yesterday, actually.
Yep.
Oh, so
We just
now
got
you
a
can
review,
tell them to go.
we just got,
We just wanna check it.
make sure everything is,
Oh, yeah, I mean,
but yeah, we could, more or less, we could probably next week
Next
say
week or
no.
something.
Yeah,
when would they be able to actually do the work?
He was hoping to start the
Weather
end of the
permitting.
month.
And
it's
the
all
weather
January.
yeah, it's all.
Yeah.
We were just taking this out of the general fund, is that what we were doing?
So possibly, we will have unexpended fund balance at the end of the year out of the aid fund. We already have unexpended fund balance just due to the sales tax coming, I believe, over what we budgeted. So we can use those amounts to put in building contractual 200 line for capital improvement.
Is there a reserve fund for this? for this
There is,
building?
we might have to go through permissive referendum and
Right.
a stop period, so
Right,
I think I would rather just,
you know what, legally check on that, because you declare it an emergency, I don't know if you need to do that anymore.
Maybe.
I think you can, I wanna say you don't have to do the permissive referendum piece, that all goes away. Once you've declared it an emergency, so that's some of the advantages of doing that.
Well, if there's enough left, I mean, if there's money in unexpended fund balance and everything else, just like it. Wouldn't it be better just to leave that reserve fund alone and
that'd be my
Use that, I
recommendation
mean,
to the
it's-
board, but because I just think it'd be easier just to move that into 24's budget, do a budget amendment, using your unexplained fund balance to line, I think it's 1530, 200, increase it, because you take the income you should spend to offset those expenses, and then you just pay for it.
But you should also look at making sure you have some type of replacement fund put in place. So if you take the 250 and you take it over a 30-year life cycle of the roof, that's about $9,000 a year.
Oh, you're saying put away so
Yeah,
much a
so
year.
make sure so that way when you get to the situation
You're right.
30 years down the road, there's a kitty to pay for it.
Well, you'd have to put in 18,
Well, I mean,
because the price cost place is like.
Yeah.
well, I put 250 actually works out to like, 8,000 and change or whatever, so I'm like, I just round up to 9. I mean, you can say 10, whatever, I'm like, at that point in time, I would do that, cause that way, if it come, if the price goes ahead and it increases to say $350,000, if I got $300,000, now I'm only looking
Oh,
for
sure.
50, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's better,
Yeah.
just a better situation to be in.
So the
We
only thing
could
we would
also-
have to look at, that reserve accounts, maybe 8 different reserve accounts, because there are maybe in the range of what the
Mhm.
board approved for money in that account. So you create another
Right.
reserve account for roof replacement.
Exactly, and maybe in that reserve account, maybe you could break them down into, at some point, it's helpful to break them down into like, okay, I got doors and windows, I got
Yeah.
roof, I got, heating and ventilation, mechanicals, I've got electrical. Cause, anything that we put in, it's not a forever item, right? Everything has a life cycle, everything needs to be replaced, so if you at least have an idea what that cost is and you know roughly how long it's gonna last, you just kind of divide that and then goose it by, whatever, 15-20%. And that'll give you like a good budgetary number to kind of think of as it relates to how much you should sock it away as it relates to the ultimate replacement.
Well,
We
this really should be part of our capital planning process,
Yeah.
we do look forward and sock away money. I mean, in the past, one of the ways we determine what to put in reserve accounts is just based on the total,
I know we
whatever
have it.
unexpended fund balance,
Where we wanna.
take half of that and let's divvy it up 20% here.
Yeah, it's just
That
arbitrary,
then buy,
yeah. Right, but then, like, when you look at this place,
One way or another, it's
like,
all coming.
we had to
out of
replace the
place.
roof on the salt barn, right? So I'm like, that was a cost, but I mean, that's a thing that you could budget for over,
Well,
it's a metal roof now, right?
Right.
So I mean, that's probably gonna last at least 40 years, you probably got a 50-year warranty. But you take the cost of that roof and divide it by 50. And then, like I said, put an escalator clause on it and then sock away whatever that annual payment is, that way that's prepared for the next time.
I wonder if you did that for all of our physical assets, what that number would do to our annual budget.
Oh, it might increase it, but I mean, in the long run, it probably actually stabilize your rates.
Well,
Yeah,
when you
over
get to
time.
the other end, yeah, you
Yeah.
have the money, but
Yeah.
initially, there's gonna be some
There's
pain
a ramp
along the
up,
way,
yeah.
because you're gonna have.
Yep,
When the roof is being replaced, is there any disruption to the service? Is they be able to, fire guys be able to use the facility and all? I mean, or they have to move the truck down?
I imagine, we'll probably have them not be in the same room when they're working on the lower roof, or the same way with the upper roof, just in case something came through.
so once the substrate's down, the substrate is actually a temporary roof. So, I mean, it is billed as a waterproof system. So in theory, you could occupy it as long as the substrate's down.
How long process is it to replace the roof?
With decent weather, a couple weeks.
I was gonna say, if that's, what he told me was if it was good weather, 2 weeks, but he said, he said it's
Worst
probably gonna
of the
take
year.
probably about 4
Can't
weeks.
count
depending
on
on how
that,
much-
just-
Yeah,
Question, does this address the mold issue at all that we have
So-
over there?
We have, we've hired Servpro, who came in and sampled and tested.
Okay.
They removed the existing drywall that was mold related.
Okay,
Now we're just waiting for the roof to be replaced before they put the drywall back in because it's still leaking.
but we determined that the mold was happening from roof leaks?
Yes, yeah, the roof
Okay,
was
good.
leaking down
Yeah,
into the
I
drywall.
just wanted to make sure that that
Yes.
was not gonna recur after this.
No.
Okay, so then we can put the drywall back up and then, okay.
so
We
then
still need to do some, we still need to plan on rehabbing the interior of the facility is extremely dated, so.
There's that. Now, just so you know, that in the current agreement between the town and the city, that is up to them to maintain the interior. part.
Oh, it is?
It is. Now, we should replace the ceiling tiles
Mhm.
because
That's 'cause
more
the
and more are
roof-
getting damaged. We might have to replace a few painting, because of the staining from the
Yep. Mhm.
water, but, if we're going to look at doing that, then we should probably have a conversation with the city, because
Yeah,
I don't know what year is.
Interior finishes is the city, exterior compliance is the town,
Yeah,
that's what the agreement is.
Yes, I have. Yes, in a nutshell, I don't have it in front of me, and I
Okay.
believe that's coming up shortly for renewal,
Okay,
okay?
yeah, cause it's really, have you been in there, it's really,
Yeah.
it's,
old.
It's very dated.
I mean, especially if you, I mean, I'm thinking about if I'm working there and then I'm also working at like the brand new EMS facility, and it looks almost like disrespectful for how, the different groups are in there. It's essentially their house for many of them, so it's terrible in there,
Yeah, so, when this is completed, I suggest that, we spend some money to fix what was damaged.
but there was no reason to do that until the roof was fixed
So the
anyway,
roof was
so
fixed,
yeah.
that's correct.
So the second part of this is that the ventilation system, one of them has failed, so Jim asked me to reach out to Jadestone. So I put together an amendment to add in that scope of services to allow Jadestone to go down there,
Okay.
do an overall evaluation of the MEP of the whole building, so that, the M&E portion, mechanical, electrical portion of the overall building, and then also specifically for that pneumatic
The
exhaust,
pile.
yeah.
Pile of
So you've, right, exactly, so you've already passed an emergency, so you might just be able to just contractually just go right to that guy as long as everything's copacetic with from whatever Jason points out.
So, just so everybody understands, I've asked this to be done because there's only 100 amp service in the building. Don't know why it's that small. I wanna make sure that there's space for breakers, is there enough amperage to run this stuff, cause I have no idea.
Right.
So before we go and bid this out, is there electrical work that's been done in order to make it work?
Right.
What service would we need if, God help us, they eventually require electrical fire trucks or something? What levels of, I'm just saying.
That would Something that'd be engineered by Jadestone, and then
Okay.
we have to go to RG&E.
So that's not gonna be helped by a 220 or something?
No, that would be probably I don't think they make 3-phase chargers, do they?
3-phase
I just,
charger.
you know what I
Yeah,
mean, like
I mean,
if they're
that's-
asking
that's
for
the
school
level
buses
three-
and
that's the level
just.
3 charger,
Yeah,
but I mean,
level
like,
3.
yeah, but the problem with the level 3 charger, at least as it sits right now with technology, is like it actually damages the battery when you use the level 3s.
Yeah.
And
The
they
charge is too fast.
yeah, they have to be outside, they charge
Yeah.
it fast, they can't be
Okay.
inside.
I'm just wondering if it, cause they're talking about school buses now, and
Yeah.
I'm like, what's next on the, how to ruin our roads quicker and cost
That
down some
old,
more list.
That old pumper they had down at Cheshire, the Station 1,
Yeah.
horses that be coming back.
Versus-
Yeah, just the whole battery thing, so
So what's going on with the
constantly evolving too.
lack of ventilation is that the walls are becoming sooted
Right.
in the truck bay.
This $64,500 is just to do an evaluation.
No,
No,
Terry,
no, it's an amendment.
the board has already approved 50 some odd thousand,
Right.
you're
So
adding
it's just the 75.
$7,500.
Yeah.
But that 57 wasn't part of the 239
It was not,
that we approved.
no,
When did we approve the 57? Okay.
that was in November, I
Yeah,
believe.
okay. I wanna say it was like maybe a board meeting or two by the end of that.
All right, so you need to,
Yeah, thank you, so. That will allow us to bring Jadestone in, give an overview and tell us
Yeah, when we
yay
need
or
to-
nay.
Yeah,
I don't know why it's still know why they only put 100 amp service in there.
yeah, for an emergency building.
Yeah.
They were anticipating a hot tub.
I got some, I don't know,
Runs a microwave.
yeah. So,
well, we come to the end of the agenda, so
yes, we have,
Oh, great,
yeah.
cause we already did.
we're done.
Where we're at with the city water pilot, the water supply agreement,
that's been approved,
Yep.
Neither one?
No, it's been approved.
all
Are
approved.
you talking about the pilot?
the pilot.
Oh,
We're
that,
being recorded. What are you
Okay,
talking
well,
about?
It was hot, it You're hot to trot on that thing and all of a sudden fall off the agenda.
No, because we're not telling them.
Are we done
Sorry.
recording?
Home's over.